manifesting your destiny. So the baby grows up, it goes to school, it gets into a fight on the playground, and suddenly some of the tissues atrophy. Or the child gets into trouble and the mother shouts, "No, don't do that." And in that moment, that mother-son or mother-daughter connection is broken, and now the child is not as connected with its loved ones. So the tissue begins to atrophy, it begins to harden, it begins to close down, and over time it can make it so that you lose range of motion. When you lose range of motion, you'll have a lack of range of emotion. So that's one main reason why it's important to keep the body fluid, so that you can experience your human potential to the fullest of its reality, based on your experience.
And like when we work here, it is like.
So the record of your existence is stored in the fascial system, and basically a person's experiences shape how their body looks. So have you ever looked at a person and somehow known about them? Somehow you know how they are, somehow you know how they behave, or somehow you know if the person has good character or not, based on their appearance, based on the way their body looks. So people are literally walking around like a giant question mark, asking the question, who am I? And all the other questions that go along with that. So when we start to do the first hour, the point is to activate the breath, and how we do that is by working all the articulation points along the clavicle, the manubrium, the sternum, and we also work the diaphragm and the abdominals, like I mentioned earlier. Sometimes when people are traumatized, for example, trauma doesn't always mean emotional trauma. It could be an injury, or a sports injury, or a car accident, or something like that. So, for example, if someone gets hit with the ball in their stomach and they can't breathe, that's called getting the wind knocked out of you. And when that happens, you can't breathe. It's kind of scary. If it's ever happened to you, you know what I'm talking about. Well, in that moment, the diaphragm stops working. It stops inflating, and it becomes atrophied. So sometimes for a person's full life, they're not experiencing a full breath.